Hey, yeah, on the subject about trauma, man, I can remember sitting in prison. I say my fifth time in prison, sitting in prison and thinking about how it all came to that point. You know, just reflecting on my life, trying to figure out where it started and what led up to that. Being a fifth time in prison at the age of like 30, 34, 35, something like that. I feel like I knew where it started, but I didn't know why. You know, it's to that point, like why. And I think about the word trauma, man, and I didn't know that word. I can't say I didn't know that word existed, but I never heard it used in a way that I paid attention to it or ever thought about it. You know, I remember sitting, listening to my tablet. They started selling tablets. I guess you can say we was renting them for like $15 a month. You know what I'm saying? If you had money, if your family had money, you can rent them. And I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and I'm listening to Charlamagne the God, and he was talking about trauma and childhood trauma and how it affects your life as you become an adult. So I started reflecting on what I felt and what I know traumatized me as a young adult. You know, I wrote about it in my book, 5 Times a Slave: How Childhood Trauma Can Create a Career Criminal. The very first chapter is called Traumatized, and I thought about that, and I thought about how angry I was at that time and leading up until the fifth time in prison, you know, before I ever dealt with it. And I started thinking about how childhood trauma was the cause of my actions. You know, I used to think maybe it was my environment, maybe it was what I was seeing every day, you know, influenced my thoughts and my actions. And actually, it was a combination of everything, because I knew and I know people from my neighborhood who decided to take a different route than I took, and they was outside just like I was, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't take the same route I took. They didn't become career criminals. So I connected my childhood trauma to my adulthood and realized that trauma played the major part in my actions in me becoming a career criminal. You know, and I like to tell people, young adults as well, man, I don't want you to be in prison reflecting back on your life, man, and trying to think of why you made the decision that you made. I'd rather you be on a couch or on Zoom with a therapist, working through those emotions, man, trying to figure out why you're doing the things you're doing, why you think the way that you think, without becoming a career criminal. You know, talk to a therapist and they will help you through those emotions. You know, like I had a chance to talk to one when I was 13, but I chose not to. You know, and the parents, this message is for y'all. Don't let your young adults, your children, tell you what to do in that matter. If you know they've been traumatized by a certain event, don't ask them, do they want to go to a therapist? Because any child gonna say no. Young adults mostly say no to everything, you know, so don't ask them, do they want to see a therapist? Tell them that they're going to see a therapist every day or every week, once a week, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, however you feel they need it. Tell them that they're going to see a therapist to work them through those emotions. And it's all kind of ways to do it out here now. It don't cost a lot of money. If you got a job, what is it, $35 a month or something, or if you don't have a job, there's programs for young adults and children that will pay for their therapists, you know. So that's my message, man, to the youth, and be willing to do it, and to the parents, make them do it, you know. So I'm out, man. Check out my book, 5 Times a Slave: How Childhood Trauma Can Create a Career Criminal. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, audiobook, and paperback. Also, it's available at 5timesaslave.com, my website.